Tonight, we mark a somber anniversary. Almost 10 years ago tonight, a storm hit central Arkansas, killing 16 people.
It was the deadliest storm that year, not just for the natural state, but for the entire country. Tonight, we're taking a look back.
And we're quiet as far as the weather is concerned for tonight, but storms ramp back up on Friday. We'll have a look at that forecast coming up.
And Pulaski County wasn't the only place hit hard by that tornado. White County also took a beating. Coming up, how one family's life took a turn for the worst after the storm.
A home destroyed in the Vilonia tornado in 2014 stands tall again today. We have that recovery story coming up.
And tonight, I speak with a mom who had problems expressing her feelings after her son was killed in the storm, how music helped her find her voice.
We certainly have a lot to cover this evening. It's all coming up next, right here on Fox 16 News at 9.
Live from Arkansas's breaking news leader, Fox 16 News at 9 starts now.
Vilonia, I want you to take cover right now.
If you got any additional units that can assist us up here, we're getting overran up here in Vilonia. It is a real mess.
10 years ago, a deadly EF4 tornado swept through Vilonia and Mayflower, wiping away neighborhoods and years of memories.
It also uprooted many lives, killing 16 people and leaving families devastated as they tried to cope with what had been unthinkable.
I didn't have answers for my children.
The nation and the natural state mourned with them as photos of the destruction were shared far and wide.
For a moment, all seemed to be lost in the rubble. But then, a sign of hope.
If I hadn't seen it with my own eyes, I would have believed it would have been possible to do all this in one day.
Communities rose from the rubble, more united than ever before.
Together, that we can be strong again.
A community that lost so much, coming together for a new beginning.
April 27th, 2014 is a date many Arkansans remember vividly when the skies turned dark and then quickly erupted. Good evening, everyone. Glad you're with us for Fox 16 News at 9. I'm Donna Terrell.
I'm Kevin Kelly. Tonight, we have team coverage on that tragic event. We'll take a look back at what happened, and we'll also show you just how far we've come. We began with Chief Meteorologist Carmen Rose with a closer look at just how powerful that tornado was. Carmen?
Well, Kevin, that tornado was the most powerful of the day on April 27th back in 2014. An EF4, we had 5 tornadoes in total. Now, that EF4 started in Pulaski County outside of Ferndale and ended closer to El Paso. But we had tornadoes track all the way farther northeast, east of Heber Springs, and then eventually ending south of Newport. All of those EF2s as well as EF1s and one EF0. So that EF4, that's the one that was deadly. That's the one that moved through Mayflower, Vilonia, and then El Paso. And it was a very powerful storm. Now, 7:06 p.m. was the start time. These tornadoes moved through during the evening on April 27th. And it was an EF4, and not just an EF4, but a powerful EF4. Those max out at 200 miles per hour. The estimated wind with this 180 to 190 miles per hour. Now, our Little Rock tornado was 165 miles per hour at a high-end EF3. We only have tornadoes that strength or greater on average 3 to 4% of the time, but they lead to over 3/4 of deaths for us in Arkansas. So even though they don't occur that often, they are the deadliest. That tornado then ended at 8:02 p.m. again closer to El Paso, to the northeast of us in Pulaski County. So what we were dealing with in Vilonia as an EF4, that was rare, it was powerful, and unfortunately it was very deadly. And of course we also had the EF2 tornado, not close to, or I should say very close to that time, April 25th, 13 years ago in 2011. So Unfortunately, very deadly and not very common. And we do have some more weather to talk about as we focus on that locally. But Donna, I'll turn it over to you.
All right, Carmen. When all was said and done, 16 people died that night in Pulaski, Faulkner, and White counties. Almost 200 others were injured.
It was the deadliest single tornado in 2014 for the entire country, and the deadliest in Arkansas since the one that hit Jonesboro way back in 1968. A record, by the way, that still stands to this day.
And in this case, the storms didn't just hit Vilonia and Mayflower. An EF2 tornado struck White County, leaving the people there with a new reality to process.
Our Gary Burton Jr. joining us live this evening from Center Hill, an area that was hit hard. Now, Gary, I know you spoke with a lady whose home certainly took a beating, and although repairs have since been made, that day is still fresh and still hurts.
Yes, it is, you guys. 10 years after the 2014 tornado. For Georgia Britt, that pain still lives, and it lives because she wakes up every single day alone. Now, she says that the storm, it caused a major decline in her husband's health battle.
The days go slow, the years go fast.
10 years have gone by since an EF2 tornado ripped through White County.
It was a bad day all the way around.
For Georgia Britt, April 27th, 2014 was the start of the new life she lives.
Storms come and I worry. Especially now that it's just me.
This is her home in Center Hill after the storm.
First thing I seen was our camper. It was on its side.
They made the repairs, but with a heavy price to pay. That night, her husband, Jewel, who was battling with dementia, told her, "We're going to be all right."
Because I knew he'd make it all right. But he did it. Whew. At a cost to himself. Because it took such a toll on him.
After the traumatic event, his dementia continued to turn for the worse. Georgia says, leading to his death in 2021.
Because he kept trying to be strong for me. Of course, I was for him. And it just, in hindsight, it was the worst thing we could have done. We should have went somewhere and talked to somebody. Because it's tough.
She says the storm also had a major financial toll on them, which led to more stress, of course. But she left me with something powerful. She says the world, it can take everything from you except the memories that you have. And as long as she has those, she's all right. I'm Gary Burton Jr. live in White County, Fox 16 News.
Gary, thank you very much. The memories, both good and bad, are what people tell us they're holding on to, as you just heard Gary mention. Little, precious, and meaningful personal belongings were literally carried with the wind on that day, including pictures, wedding rings, birth certificates, even Bibles. Those and more were collected all across Arkansas, Missouri, and Tennessee. And believe it or not, they were all sent to Vilonia. For 8 years, students in the East program at Vilonia High School restored them, contacted their owners when they could, and if they couldn't be returned, they archived them online. Some of the larger items still await their owners, but more than 80,000 items were returned to people.
Well, one of the 16 people who died in the tornado was 22-year-old Jeffrey Hunter. His death made national news. He was the one who sent text messages to the people he loved. It was his last text goodbye before he was swept up in the tornado when it hit the small town of El Paso. And one of the people who got a series of text messages from Jeff was his mom, Regina Wood. 10 years after his death, the power of music has taken Regina to a place she never expected.
Goodbye, Mama. It's heading right for me. From what I was told is that he got sucked up through the debris, through the roof into the tornado. And then when the vortex stopped or whatever, he got dropped down into the rubble.
It's been a tough 10 years for Regina Wood, always remembering the night her son, Jeff Hunter, sent text messages to the people he loved moments before dying in a tornado.
I got a text saying, "Mama, I'm so scared." I would have given anything, my life, to save his.
Jeff and 15 others were killed in 2014 when a tornado hit a wide area of central Arkansas, including El Paso near Vilonia. Regina says her son's texts revealed the inevitable.
He knew. It just makes your heart, you lose it. You just totally lose it.
Aww. The grief immeasurable. But the loss struck a chord after Regina got a precious gift from her mother before she died.
My mom got me my first keyboard, and her poor soul, note by note, she sat in that chair and she just listened to me try to learn note by note. And I will always love her for that.
Learning to play was therapeutic, but tickling the ivories grew to so much more.
I've written a lot of songs for Jeffrey. It's my own way of showing my love for him.
Those songs are on streaming platforms like Spotify and SoundCloud. She's collaborated with music artists all over the world, stroking the keys of an unexpected musical journey.
I don't think I would have been able to look at it where he is in such a place and be, I'll see you soon. You know, I would probably still feel that deep, deep hole.
Through melody,
I just want him to be proud of me now.
This grieving mom found the right notes to express feelings words could not.
Well, when that tornado hit El Paso, we're told Jeff Hunter was huddled with his father and stepmom in the bathroom of their home. And then the walls began to come down around them. Both his father and stepmom, Tim and Vicki Hunter, were injured in that deadly storm.
Thank you for that story, Donna. Today also marks 13 years since the beginning of a super outbreak of tornadoes that ripped through the country. Over 72 hours, 26 tornadoes were recorded in Arkansas, one of the strongest, an EF2 that touched down in Vilonia. The 2011 super outbreak actually lasted a little over 3 days, finally ending on the Atlantic coastline. In the end, we lost 5 Arkansans. 300 people were killed nationwide and more than 3,000 were injured. It was the costliest tornado outbreak on record, with damages totaling more than $10 billion. Luckily, one Vilonia family only had tree damage during that 2011 outbreak, but that luck ran out 3 years later.
Fred Weaver says he remembers the day clearly when the EF4 tornado hit the area in 2014 that took out his home completely. Our Caroline Derby continues our coverage live tonight in Vilonia. And Caroline, where is he now compared to 10 years ago?
Well, Donna and Kevin, he's in the very same place where he could have lost his life 10 years ago, on the same plot of land where his house was completely destroyed. But thanks to God, family, and his friends, he says his house is now standing tall again and he is back on his feet.
It's something that I'll never forget. I lost everything.
A day lifelong local of Vilonia, Fred Weaver says changed his life forever when an EF4 tornado tore through his beloved hometown.
I was standing on the end of the porch and I was watching for it because they said it was coming through Vilonia.
Weaver ran down to his basement to take shelter.
All the house was complete when I went down, and when I came up, there was nothing.
His home that overlooks Williams Lake, a slab of concrete. His belongings scattered through the woods. But the shock didn't set in completely until he went into town.
I went to Vilonia and I saw what happened. And I just started crying.
Now, nearly 10 years later, his house standing tall on the one slab of concrete. Only a few things survived the tornado, including a piece of furniture that sits in his house today. and a picture of his son, who he lost years ago. People from across the country came to help the area rebuild. And while they were at it, put an American flag on top of the destruction, a sign of strength and unity. The reminder of resilience hangs in his home now.
With the help of Jesus, we made it through.
While Weaver says he lost nearly everything, he gained a new perspective that only comes through walking through the valley.
It makes me think more about love and kindness. That's what life should be.
When he thinks about that day, he so clearly remembers everyone who came to lend a helping hand, not just that day, but in the months that followed as well. And he says he's forever thankful for that. Reporting live in Vilonia, I'm Caroline Derby, Fox 16 News.
All right, Caroline. Of the 16 people killed in Pulaski, Faulkner, and White counties, the first 3 were members of a family in Ferndale. Carrie Tittle lost her husband, Rob, and 2 of their daughters, 20-year-old Tori and 14-year-old Rebecca, when their home took a direct hit from the tornado. She, along with 7 other children, were injured but survived after being rescued from the rubble thanks to first responders and neighbors. It's been a long road for the Tittle family, healing both physically and emotionally. Carrie says her faith is what has kept her moving forward, focusing on the blessings that have come from the pain.
I never thought I would be able to see my daughters get married by myself, but the Lord has just been so gracious. And we also have a new baby coming. We got a new grandbaby coming. So there's been a lot of good things that have happened. Yeah, so this was...
And another special part of this story, Carrie's son Noah, who was 9 when the tornado hit, is now a volunteer firefighter at the same station that came to his rescue all those years ago.
There are plenty of stories of inspiration and hope and faith and love that have come and surfaced since that unfortunate, tragic day. So it's good to see people are moving forward, which is what Arkansas does all the time, especially after a disaster.
That is so true.
Yeah. All right. Well, how about Motor City? Boy, has it come to life tonight. As fans near and far swarm Detroit for a night of celebration.
Coming up on Fox 16 News at 9, we head to Detroit as the first round of the NFL Draft kicks off. Plus this story.
I'm Ashley King. In this week's Job Alert, we have a wide range of job opportunities to share with you. I'll have all those in just a bit.
And coming up later in sports, John Calipari picks up another McDonald's All-American. Sports director Wes Moore will tell us all about it in about 40 minutes.
Now from the Arkansas Storm Team, weather to plan your day with Chief Meteorologist Carmen Rose.
Well, 13 years ago on this same day, April 25th, we were already dealing with tornadoes. That EF2 in Vilonia, and EF2 ranked 111 to 135 miles per hour on the enhanced Fujita scale. Now, the one that we've been talking about, then that anniversary will officially be in 2 days, the 10-year anniversary for the 2014 Vilonia tornado, 166 to 200 miles per hour. Again, max estimated wind on that 180 to 190. But what happened 13 years ago today was not just the Vilonia tornado, but we had multiple tornadoes. In fact, a total of 26 tornadoes tore through Arkansas in 2011 from April 25th through 26th. 18 tornadoes alone were on April 25th. We had 4 deaths, unfortunately, in Vilonia from that EF2, and an EF3 that was outside of Hot Springs Village also led to 1 death. There was also an EF2 that impacted the Little Rock Air Force Base. Fortunately, we do not have anything like that out there right now, although we did have some strong storms, lots of rain, and even some hail very early this morning. We have a warm front that has since stalled out. There's that stationary front, but all the rain and storms are focused off there toward our north into Missouri. We are going to continue to deal with that break for the remainder of tonight. Rain so far for today, well, over an inch was picked up into Little Rock, most of that early this morning. Russellville over 2 inches, and Stuttgart nearly an inch. Our Central One Tower cam will show you well, those cloudy skies, but fortunately not stormy skies. It is 60 degrees, and that's going to be where we hold steady for the remainder of tonight and overnight. Now, tomorrow morning, we could have some showers and storms roll into West Arkansas, and then a few of those storms could move into Central Arkansas later in the afternoon, so after lunchtime through the early evening hours. So that's why our games have been adjusted over into Fayetteville, as they will be stormy as well for tomorrow. I think by 10 o'clock, a lot of this will be starting to wind down for tomorrow night. Saturday, overall, I do think we're going to get a break from any storm action. However, Sunday, we will have a stronger cold front that is going to be moving in from the plains from our west, and that is going to trigger some strong to potentially severe thunderstorms for Northwest and West Arkansas. You will be hit first by Sunday afternoon. For us into Central Arkansas, Little Rock, we're focused on Sunday evening and Sunday night. Tonight, 60 degrees and cloudy. Tomorrow, 79 degrees. So it will be warmer. It will be windy. Again, the focus for severe storms will be not just on Friday afternoon and evening, but Sunday evening and Sunday night. So Saturday shouldn't have much of a problem there. Sunday, that's when those storms roll through. Rain will last all the way through Monday, some spots picking up over 4 inches. So we will be watching that as well for any flash flood concern. And then we'll see some sunshine finally return Tuesday and Wednesday next week. Back to you.